please keep in mind that if they are attending the meeting, you know, in corporate tomorrow, tomorrow, Monday, that they will get an education at the group enrollment meeting, because we're not starting one-on-ones until after that. So just an FYI.
Yes. We just want to have the benefit counselors prepared before the first group meeting.
Sure.
So we like them to arrive prepared, so that's why we like to go over everything. Alrighty, so let's see, it says the session's being recorded, so we're getting ready to record. I want to welcome everybody to this training call for Thrive Markets. And we have, well, you can see the list of benefit counselors that are here. Mike McCary, the opener, is also on the call, along with Erica Nelson, the broker. So she's going to be able to go over the benefit booklet with us and go over the core plan, so you're comfortable with all the plans that are being offered. So first, I'll check in with Mike. Mike, did you want to say anything about the group before we get started?
Only
words of wisdom?
Yeah, I don't know about wisdom. You know, you have to be born with it, I think. This group was brought to us through Orion Risk, who is one of the 4 members of Benefits America. And last year, the Benefits America partnership of 4 brokers brought us a little over $750,000 worth of Colonial Life premium. And so we really appreciate the business that they brought us. I just wanted all of you to recognize that that's who we have as our broker this time. So like you always do, please just go out and do your normal thing, do a great job, and life will be dandy. I don't really have anything else that I need to offer, because this is a training call, and Andrea's got the you got the wheel.
Okay, that's good. And Erica, before we get started on going over the enrollment guide and the benefits, did you want to share anything about the account itself? Any insights on the account?
Not really. Basically, this group we've had this group for a little over a year now. And just so you guys know, I mean, this is going to be a completely new process for them. So they're really just looking for as much guidance that we can give them, being the HR managers for all the locations. But I think we're all on the same page, and they understand that we're going to do this electronically, and that you guys are going to get assisting us with the core enrollment as well as the voluntary benefits. So that's it, pretty much in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. And Thrive Markets, can you tell us a little bit about the business? What it is specifically that they do?
Yeah, I'm sure that some of you have probably seen some of their commercials now on television. They just started rolling out like probably the last month or so. What they are is they are a health food distributor online. So they're kind of the same thing as if you're familiar with Whole Foods Market. They are kind of a similar setup. They just do everything online and have a lot supposedly better prices to offer for those particular types of health foods.
Oh, okay.
I will let you guys know that whoever's attending the Monday meeting in corporate, they will have a chef there preparing lunch. So you will definitely have lunch taken care of, because they're going to be making sure that they have lunch for everybody, all the employees. And sorry, that's just for corporate. So Commerce in Indiana, you basically are on your own on that one.
Well, that means Susie, Patrick, Elizabeth Raynerson, and Adelina will get lucky. They're the ones that will be at corporate. And if I can just, since we're recording this call, if you have any background noise, if you can mute your call, mute your phone so that we don't hear background noise unless you're talking, that would be wonderful. As Erica said, this is we're going to be doing a core enrollment for this group, and this is the first time that they're going to be doing it with benefit counselors, so we do want everything to go smoothly. They, for this group, quick. There we go. For this group, they have opted, and I think they're doing this at all locations, they are assigning employees a 30-minute time slot to sit with a benefit counselor. They thought that was the most efficient way to set up the benefit meeting so that they can be sure all the employees are seen. So you will receive, I think, schedules from the HR contact at each location when you're there on the days. Okay, so first let's just really quickly, I'm going to just go over what's going to be offered, and then later on we're going to go more in depth with the plans, and that's when Erica will share more about the plans and answer any questions you might have about any of the plans. The medical insurance is basically continuing the same plans that they've had through Anthem. They have an Anthem Blue Cross HMO that's in California. They have a PPO 500 that's in California and for out of state in Indiana. They have the HSA one that is for California and Indiana, and then they have a solution, PPO Solutions 3500 that's just for out of state. And I think this is the one that you said was a new plan. Was it
Yes.
was replacing something? Okay.
Yeah, it was replacing, there was a higher deductible plan. It was a 5,000 plan, and it's now, they're now offering a better plan, the 3,500. So.
Oh, good. That's good. Okay, I'll make a notation in the enrollment guide that that's replacing a plan. And they are continuing their Guardian PPO dental plan, and they're continuing their Guardian VSP vision plan. What they're adding that's new is a Guardian Basic Life plan for all full-time employees.
Wait, hold on, Andrea. They actually have the Guardian Basic Life in force right now. They're just adding the voluntary life. Yeah.
Okay, so the Basic Life is in place, and the new is going to be the voluntary life. Okay. So I'll put that. I'll adjust the guide for that then. So that the Basic Life is continuing. It's for all full-time employees, and they are adding a buy-up and the voluntary life for the employees through Guardian, that they can get additional life insurance. They're also adding a long-term disability plan through Guardian, and for those that are in Indiana, they're adding a short-term disability plan. California, they have state disability, so they don't get a short-term disability plan because there's already a disability in place in California. And then they're also adding through WageWorks FSAs, the health reimbursement FSA, the dependent care FSA, and then the parking transportation or transit FSA. All right, now for this group, go ahead.
They're actually on the FSA. There is the health reimbursement, the dependent care, the parking. There's the commuter. There's also a bicycle flexible spending account. So there's actually three different, because you got to think like the entire company is very much health driven. So, a lot of them they're into, eating healthy, exercising. So a lot of them brought to HR that they were wondering if they could get some kind of, reimbursement program as far as, riding their bikes to work and, using them as a form of transportation rather than, vehicles or public, transportation. And so we were able to find them that particular product through WageWorks. So that will be available to them as well. And just keep in mind that I am kind of new to, other than the health reimbursement and the dependent care FSA and some of the commuter, I am very new to the bicycle and how that one works, but there will be a representative speaking at both California locations on these programs. The only location they won't be speaking at is Indiana, but Rebecca in my office will be going to Indiana, and she is going to attend one of the meetings in California, so she knows exactly how to explain it to employees. So if you're not super familiar with that portion of the flexible spending account, it's okay, because we're going to get kind of educated as we go along.
Yes, that's the first time I've heard of bicycle as being part of the transit commuter FSA. So if you have any information on that, could you send it over to me so I can get it to the benefit counselor? So
I did send it.
Oh, you did on the, is it in the benefit booklet then on the bicycle portion of the FSA?
No, I sent you, I'm pretty sure I sent you the actual benefit summaries when you asked for them, but I can resend them if you can't find them, because there's flyers for each one.
Oh, no, yeah, can you resend them? Because I have the SPCs for the medical plans, but I didn't find any, I didn't find any summaries, or I missed them. So if you can resend them on each one of them, that would be great.
Sure.
I apologize, I missed them. And then I'll get that out to you so you all can read up on the bicycle FSA. That's pretty cool that they're going to get some reimbursement for riding their bikes to work.
Yeah, it's like $20. Like the max that you can do is $20 a month. So, but that's still, that's still good. So.
Yeah, because I'll have to set that up then for those that are doing the bicycle.
Yeah, the Lance Armstrong benefit. I like it.
Yeah. But I guess considering Thrive Markets is into with whole foods and healthy, that makes sense.
Yep.
All righty. All right. So, and just even though these benefits are continuing, you're going to see them listed in Harmony under the existing benefits tab. Because when I received the census, we were missing too many dates of birth and salaries, and so there was too many and the date of hire, and so it was erroring out and wouldn't allow me to carry forward and recalculate. So I talked with Erica, and we didn't want to make more work for the client to add additional information when they've already spent a lot of time on the census. So we are having them you can look under the existing benefit tab and it'll tell you, which medical plan they were on and coverage tier, and you can just ask if they want to continue the same and then select the same in Harmony. But their dependents, if they had dependents covered, are added into the system, so that will help. You won't have to be searching for everything. There was a couple of missing dependent socials, so the system will ask you to get those missing dependent socials, but it's a lot better than having to start from scratch. So we have as much information on what they currently have as we were able to put in the system. And so, but it's still going to be selected for all employees to do medical, because, now that we're sitting one-on-one and being able to explain with the employees, we're of course hoping that more employees will opt to elect health insurance, especially in the atmosphere of the Affordable Care Act, since we need to have health insurance or pay a tax penalty. So we're going to be assisting with that, but we will not be, everything's going to be electronic. So we won't be filling out any Anthem paper enrollment forms or Guardian enrollment forms. We'll be capturing all the information in Harmony, and then I will, after the enrollment's over, I will be putting the data into the Anthem spreadsheet and the Guardian spreadsheet to get over to the carriers. So the only paper form that we're going to need to do is, since the voluntary life is new, anybody who gets over the guaranteed issue amount will have to fill out the EOI form, the evidence of insurability form. And it's in Harmony, and you all received a copy of that right away. And I already did this guide, and I had the information about apps on there, so you can disregard the information about enrollment forms since we're not going to be filling them out. And what I already explained about the medical existing benefits showing under the existing benefits, and the existing dependents are there, so you just need to select them. Oh, there's one employee that's recently arrived from Russia. He is not showing in the database because he doesn't have a social security number yet. So, Eric, I'm not quite sure how we're going to enroll him. Did you want us to?
Well, let's just kind of cross that bridge. I'll be there on Monday, and we'll just kind of see what's going on. We'll address it on Monday morning. So.
Okay. So people who are there on Monday, Erica will tell you what to do with this gentleman.
Yeah, I might have to enroll him like on the back end. So just because Anthem requires certain information, being that he doesn't have a social security number at this point. So we'll just worry about that on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, if you want in our system, I mean, we don't like to do, and we can, put a dummy social in just to, have him select the plans that he wants, and then you can hold everything until later on him until he gets the social, or you can just do them on paper, I guess, when he gets the social and add them at that time.
Actually, if you can do the dummy social, that's not a bad idea. And then he can sit down and he can enroll, and then we can just go from there. At least we can collect the data.
Yeah, we can collect all the data that we can on him. He wouldn't be able to enroll in any of the Colonial products either, though, until he gets a social, because Colonial products require a social as well.
Yeah. So let's just get the data for him, and then we'll proceed once we get to that point of uploading enrollment and whatnot.
Okay, so this was the only gentleman that errored out when I was trying to put in the census once we decided not to do the carry forward and recalculate, because he was the only one without a valid social. All right, now the rates that are in Harmony, you will see them in the benefit booklet when we pull it up. They're exactly the same, so hopefully all the employees will see that, and they won't have any surprises, because they'll have been looking. Have they received their benefit booklets and they're looking at all these already before the enrollment starts, Erica? Perfect. That's what we like, so that they come prepared with all the information that they need. Alrighty, so like we usually do on Mike's group, when you're with the employees and you're going through the enrollment form, and you're getting the election form, be sure to point out that the dollar amounts that they see on the election form are per pay period. We don't want them thinking that they're monthly. I will get everybody Mike's survey, so be sure to give all the employees Mike's survey and ask them to turn it in to their local HR. And Erica, we like to pass them out, and we hope that we get some back, but I'm sure you've seen that we don't get a whole lot back. But it's nice that the employees have this survey, that if they have any concerns that they want to express, or things that they like that they want to express, they have a vehicle to do it. Sure. Yeah. And then, like we usually like to say, that because these we're having electronic signatures and not wet signatures, don't set up the password for the employee. Have the employee set up the password and sit next to you to see the screen, so that they, that it will be a legal electronic signature. And we do have, the dates and times set up, but if perchance something happens and we get behind and all the employees aren't seen, is it okay Erica, if they talk with the plan administrator and set up an additional day if needed to come back?
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully. Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. And then there's going to be some of our sentence benefit waivers, and we have, I think, one of the Affordable Care Act waiver there. So be sure, and I think they should all have red asterisks, but I just like, if perchance I forget to click a button, if you see any of these sentence waivers, be sure to do them, because that's what we want all the employees to sign off on. Double check all the profile information. We like to help out HR and update all the information that they have, so that we can return a file to them with the most up-to-date information on their employees. And I will get to everybody the pre-enrollment flyer that we gave to this group. And so when you're at your location, if you have printed copies of this flyer, you can pass it out during the group meeting, so the employees have something to look at when you discuss the Colonial portion. Are they going to be passing out any of the benefit booklets at the meeting? Because if that's the case, with your benefit booklet, or are they going to come with the benefit booklets, do you think, to the meeting? And what do you think, Erica?
Yeah, we shipped out the benefit booklets along with your flyer on the 3 products, like we did for HCI.
Right.
We sent that out to them this last week, so they have it all, and they will be distributing those at the meeting.
At the meeting.
So that people have, just so people have a point of reference, because that's what we generally use this booklet as. It's basically like our agenda you know, it's like it kind of goes over everything, and, you know, we go over open enrollment, you know, so we just use that as a frame of reference so that we can make sure that we touch on everything. And then we will have representatives from the insurance carriers, and like I mentioned before, WageWorks will be attending to go over the FSA, so that everybody after that meeting, you know, if there are questions even that the counselors have, they are more than welcome to, you know, address those with the actual benefit representatives so that they make sure that they convey the correct information to employees on the core enrollment.
Yes. So you hear that, benefit counselors, feel free to ask questions at the meetings, because you will be sharing, you know, the days that you're there for the meetings. You take turns, you know, doing the colonial presentation at the couple of group meetings that are at each session at each location. And if you are there and you hear the, you know, the carrier rep say anything that you want to, you know, that you want to get another answer on, just be sure to raise your hand and ask.
Or pull them over to the side. They'll be there for probably, I know Anthem, the Anthem rep will be there all day long. It's not worth it for her, just like me. We'll be there all day. So the great thing is if you get stuck on something, she will be there to, you know, answer any questions, you know, the employees might have when you're enrolling them, if you're not sure.
Okay, and the carrier reps, they're going to be in Indiana as well. It's just WageWorks that wasn't going to be in Indiana. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so Guardian and Anthem will be in Indiana, and Rebecca from Erica's office will be in Indiana to present the FSA portion. So yes. Indiana, you'll still just be presenting the colonial portion. All right, so we'll move down real quick.
Do you know when Rebecca's going to be in Indiana?
She is flying in on Wednesday evening, so that she can be there for the 10 o'clock Thursday meeting.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you.
We're hoping she wasn't arriving early Thursday morning. It might be late because the plane was late or something.
No. No.
Okay, so she'll be there on time. Alrighty, so you have the Excel schedule that I sent out, and I just briefly went over the schedule here. In Marina Del Rey, we're going to be there on April 4th, 5th, and 8th. 4 benefit counselors on the 4th and 5th, and 2 people will be going back on the 8th. In April 4th, that's the day they wanted the 4 benefit counselors. Well, actually, 3 of them will be there until 8 p.m. because one of them had already told me she had to leave by 2. And then on the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, 3 benefit counselors will be at Commerce on the 6th and the 7th, and 1 benefit counselor will only be there on the 8th because the other 2 will be back at the Marina Del Rey location. Now, Indiana starts on the 7th. Since we only have Liz and Barb, it'll go for 5 days, possibly 6. If needed, you know, to do 1 extra day, but they're hoping to get everybody scheduled in those 5 days that we're there. The first day, each location, the first meeting is at 10 o'clock, so if you would all arrive there, you know, 9:15 or so that you can find where you're going to get set up and get ready to go, because the one-on-one meetings will start after that first meeting. And then we will be starting at 7 a.m., you know, the subsequent days. So that we're just, they have different shifts, and so we're doing our best to accommodate and see all the employees. And most of the days will have a 6 p.m. end time, but some days may go later. Speak with the local HR, and they'll have the schedule, and they'll let you know who and what times they have scheduled for everybody. We have all the, you know, the forms that we want you to put in the brochure, and we did learn something today. That what were the reasons, Mike, that they told us that they don't want the universal claim form and the conversion form?
That was pretty simple, and I hadn't heard it before until now. One, they didn't want to insert the claim form because they felt like the claim forms are changing rapidly now because we're moving to semi and then hopefully someday a full electronic environment. So they didn't want to have a bunch of old claim forms out there. That sounded reasonable. Second one was the yes, you can keep your insurance form, or it's the form that allows employees to fill it out and tell Colonial that they'd like to port their policy to individual pay. There are two forms that we can do that with. One is a request for service, and the other one is this form that across the top in large type it says, yes, I would like to keep my insurance. It's actually designed for employees who are departing their company whenever they leave, and they'd like to continue their policy through direct payment to Colonial. Colonial felt like, and I disagree with them, they felt like it encourages employees to take their policies to individual pay, thus removing it from the payroll deduction process. It's like, oh, okay. So there you have it.
Okay, so I'll update the guide and take those out to not be in the brochure, to not be in your folder. And that's per the home office. So just wanted to let you guys know you don't have to include those anymore.
Now, having said that, having said that, the one thing that we always tell the employees anyway, regardless of whether the forms are included, that the coloniallife.com website has a very wonderful and robust page for all of the forms. Are separated by product. There are even, and please remind these employees that there are even videos on how to fill out a claim online. So they just go to, like if they have an accident claim, one of the most common, just go to www.coloniallife.com, go down toward the bottom, you'll see employee claim forms, and then off to the left, you'll have it broken down by policy type, and there's a video for each type of claim, and then it walks the employee through the steps to accurately fill out, I should say completely fill out a claim, so they do it once and not have to go back and add or fix something they overlooked, etc. So we should always remind employees that there is a very rich library and video of videos that'll help them through claims process.
Okay. Alrighty. So here are the addresses for the 3 locations and the contact person at each location. On the Corp location in Marina Del Rey is going to have 3 meetings, a 10 a.m., a 2 p.m., and a 4 p.m. meeting. The Commerce location on April 6th is going to have 2 meetings, a 10 a.m. and a 4 p.m. meeting. And then in Batesville in Indiana, they're going to have a 10 a.m. And I saw some discussion. Are they keeping the 5:30 meeting, or did they change the time?
They changed it to 3:30.
To 3:30. Okay, so it's going to be 10 a.m. and 3:30. Okay, I'll correct the guide. Like I said, that's why I told everybody don't print this guide after the training call. There's usually some corrections that I'll have to add. And I just got an email a little while ago. I'll also put in this guide. There will be a UVille site, and it's just now completing being created. It'll be at visit uville.com //Thrive Market. They're loading the benefit booklets and the benefit summaries on there now, and I'll get over to them the WageWorks information so that they can load the WageWorks summaries on that site as well. And so we'll have that as a reference that we can use with employees here as well. All right, Erica, is there any other phone numbers that you want me to put in here for the benefit counselors in case they have questions?
Yeah, you can add in my cell phone number.
Okay. Can you tell it to me?
949-294-8566. That phone number that you have referenced for me is my office line, and it generally forwards to my cell phone, but, just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
We'll put it. And so if somebody, you're sitting with an employee and you're asked a question that you don't have an answer for, just tell them that you need to double check with the broker and call Erica and get an answer on any of the plans. And let's see, the effective date of everything is, since we're enrolling in the month of April, is going to be May 1st. The first deduction date for the Colonial products is going to be May 6th. And I assume that since that's basically the first week in May, that's probably the first deduction for any new costs for any of their core plans as well. And there are 26 pay periods, and they have section billing. So when you're submitting business, be sure to submit the business under the correct section for Colonial. Section 1 is the corporate section. Section 2 is the Batesville section, and Section 3 is Commerce section, because they're going to have their bills set in sections so that the employees are at their, by location. We're offering 3 group plans to this group. Group disability, we're doing the off-job disability. Accident, group accident, we're doing the Plan 1 and the Plan 3 with on and off-job accident, and the health screening benefit of $50, and it comes also with hospital confinement benefit. And then the group medical bridge, we're offering the Plan 2 with the $500 hospital confinement benefit and option 1 for outpatient and health screening. So those are the 3 Colonial benefits that you'll present to the employees if it's your turn to do the presentation at the group meeting. And that you'll show the employees when they sit down one-on-one after we go through the core plans. And then so I will add the bicycle to this so that it'll show that the bicycle information on the bicycle plan as well. I didn't know they had that. Boy, you learn something new every day, don't you?
I know. I've never seen it before either. So,
did you have to search a long time to find a TPA, FSA TPA that did bicycle?
No, luckily WageWorks, I guess this must be common, because we were putting everything with, the commuter and the flexible spending account, and then they had brought up about the bicycle reimbursement, and they actually had that. So I was like, good, wow. That worked.
Okay. All righty. And I'm thinking it might be easier. I have the brief synopsis on all the plans here in the guide, but I think it might be easier to do it using the benefit booklet. What do you think?
Yeah, probably, because then it will go in line with what our whole spiel is going to be at the enrollment meeting. So.
Okay. All right. So I pulled up the booklet I pulled up here is the California booklet. And so I'll pull up the out-of-state when we need to, and we'll talk briefly about the one plan that's different in Indiana. But for the most part, all the plans that are in the California location are in Indiana. There's just a couple of differences. Costs are different, so you don't want them to see the California booklet when you're sitting with them if you're in Indiana, because the per pay period deductions are different in Indiana. Alrighty, so if you've gone through I gave it to you so you had a chance to go through it. Did you want to just go through the booklet real quick, Erica?
Sure. So okay. I'll just kind of go through the spiel that exactly what we'll go through at the meeting beginning Monday. But this is the group's annual open enrollment. This is the time when they're able to make changes to their plans. They have to work a minimum of 30 hours per week to be eligible for the plan. And then just like, all of the medical plans, and we mirror the dental and the vision, the children or eligible dependents are covered to, children are covered to age 26, and that's according to healthcare reform. There are a couple examples down in this box below that explain that this is the time, obviously, that you can make changes to the plans, that you can add dependents, delete dependents. Just keep in mind that, you need to make a really well, informed decision because this is going to last you for the entire year unless you have a qualifying event, and then you can add, you know, a spouse on, a child on, you know, that kind of scenario. But you have to do it within 30 days of that event, and let HR know. But mostly we just want them to really know that they need to make an informed decision. But again, we're going to go over this all through the group meeting. So hopefully when they get to you guys, it's just going to be a matter of clicking, you know, what they want.
Yeah, we're thinking that 30 minutes will be a sufficient time because most of them are going to come and they're going to know exactly, you know, what medical plans, or most of them will continue the same. That generally is what happens for medical dental.
Exactly.
And dental and vision, there's only one choice, so they either take it or leave it. And then you have the employer-paid products. Well, that's easy. You're just going to click it because if they're full-time, they get it. And then the only other choice, you know, is ask them if they're going to sign up for FSA or the voluntary life, and then the colonial product. So the ones that are, everything should go fairly quickly.
That reminds me, on the PPO out of state and the HSA plans, they will be issued a new group number, and they will get new ID cards. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind if you. Are you there?
The out of state, the PPO, and the HSA, they're going to be getting new ID cards.
Yeah, because there's going to be new group numbers issued. So it'll still have the first 6 digits that's referenced on this sheet for the classic HMO plan. It's all umbrellaed under the 279537, but there's additional numbers that go along with it according to whatever plan. And so those additional numbers are going to change for the HSA and for the out-of-state PPO plan.
Okay. All right, so then we're here at medical. So the first plan we're looking at here is the HMO plan. It looks like a basic classic HMO plan. Is anything that you want to say specifically about this plan, Erica?
No, I mean, this is just your traditional full network HMO plan. You know, it's just got your fixed co-pays. You know, your hospital is, you know, per admission. So yeah, I mean, it's very straightforward.
And it is required to have your primary care physician. And since this is a current plan, and we have asked them to come with their current providers, if they happen not to come, is it okay for us to write keep the same or something like that?
Sure.
Because we're making it required to select a primary care provider here. And when at all possible, please put the number of the primary care provider before you put the name. It makes it easier when I'm putting it into the carrier spreadsheet. They like the number first.
A lot of them should have their ID cards with them, but yeah, I mean, you know, so they should be able to give you that number because nothing should change as far as that, you know, concerned. So, but I mean, most likely I know Anthem is going to go ahead and keep the PCP number, you know, the same. Yeah. So I'm not really overly concerned about populating that.
Okay. And so, you know, if they don't have their ID card with them and they don't remember the name of their doctor, because you'll have the link that you can go, you know, look up on the provider network. But that can be one of our time suckers. And since we have 30 minutes with each employee, we don't want to take 15 of it looking for the doctor. So should just say, let's keep the same or assign a doctor rather than, you know, spend 15 minutes trying to find a doctor. And they have in their benefit booklet, they have the URL right there in the benefit booklet as well.
Well, and keep in mind, too, that, again, I will be there, and so will Anthem all day long for the most part. So while you guys are enrolling, I mean, I could always do doctor lookups if it's really something that, you know,
that they want.
Concerning the employee, yeah.
Well, okay, everybody, keep that in mind. So you have resources, especially if Anthem's going to be there all day as well with questions. All right, then the PTO. if you want to share about the PPO.
Okay, the PPO, again, works like a traditional PPO plan. It has your in-network and out-of-network. The annual deductible is $500 for an individual, $1,500 for a family. And then obviously we always try to emphasize for people to stay in network and look up, providers in that particular tier. I don't know if you really want me to go in depth on the benefits, since we're going to go over them at the group meeting, Andrea. So,
well, does anybody have any questions? I mean, let's leave it. If any of the I put the summaries, the basic ones you can see in here on the screen as well. It operates like a basic, PPO, and like Erica said, out of network is always more, so it behooves the employee to stay in network. And if you have any questions on anything like we said, the HMO plan or the PPO plan, please speak up and ask your questions. Now's the time.
Erica, this is Mike. I appreciate you asking the question, if we could, kind of slip by it. But what happens during these trainings, because our benefit counselors could be on 2 different, maybe 3 different groups in 1 week. Things run together. We run into different plans from all the different carriers. When you are reviewing it, or when our broker is reviewing the group's plan offerings, even though, we're all exposed to it day in, day out, sometimes it generates a question that the benefit counselor will have that they encounter when sitting with employees and things like that. And so I know it's a bit of a bore, but if I could beg of you to take the moments and run through the plans, just in case it stimulates a question on their side, it'll be helpful. Because it's kind of last minute and immediately before they're going to sit down with an employee, if we rely upon the group meeting to do it. So what happens is we review it here, generates questions, and then the group meeting becomes another review for the benefit counselor, which kind of takes it just a little bit deeper into the gray matter. So thanks for understanding. I appreciate it, but if you do that, it'd be great.
Okay. So with that being said, this annual deductible, again, is a $500 for an individual, $1,500 for a family. That deductible needs to be satisfied in order to receive any type of benefit outside of, if you look down or scroll down, you see primary care, physician and specialist office visit. That's a $20 copay, okay? The deductible is waived. So that particular visit would not be subject to the deductible. In network, if you go out of network, they're going to be responsible for 30% and subject to the deductible. One of the biggest factors of a PPO plan is the out-of-pocket limit. In network is $3,500 for an individual, $7,000 for a family. Okay, and what that means, and that's in network, what that means is that once they satisfy the deductible and say like they go to the hospital and they're, obviously incurring more bills after satisfying that deductible, the max that will come out of their pocket in a calendar year, depending on how they're enrolled, is either $3,500 or $7,000. Okay, and it works the same way for out of network. Out of network, it's $7,000 for individual, $14,000 for a family. So it is substantially more to utilize out of network benefits, and then you also run into additional balance billing on top of it that the provider can charge you based on them not having a contractual agreement with the insurance carrier. So it's definitely in their best interest to stay in network. So there is a $20 office visit copay, not subject to deductible. When you go into the hospital, you're going to pay deductible, then 10% of whatever the contractual rate is up to the out-of-pocket maximum. Out of network, it's 30%. Outpatient surgery is 10%. Out of network, it's 30%. Preventive care is covered at 100% in network, and that's due to healthcare reform, which I'm sure all of you are familiar. Just keep in mind, though, if, for instance, when they go and utilize the preventive care and test result comes back where they need to do additional testing and more research on something, that will then be subject to whatever, benefit that particular service falls under. The out-of-network is 30% for preventive care emergency room is $150 copay plus an additional 10%. If they are admitted into the hospital, that $150 is waived. Prescription drug benefits, tier 1 is generic, and I don't really focus on out-of-network on prescription drug. I don't even know why we put that in there. So because most of these, big name pharmacies contract with the insurance carrier, so it's really hard to go out-of-network. But tier 1, which represents generic, that's a $10 copay. Tier 2 is a brand name drugs, and that's $30 copay. Tier 3 is a $50 copay. And tier 4, which is self-injectables, it's 30% to a maximum of $150. Any questions on that plan?
I do. This is Susie. I have a question.
Okay.
Can you hear? Okay. This came up today, actually, at the enrollment where I was at today. So you're talking about a wellness or preventative. Somebody has a colonoscopy. My understanding was if they go in for a preventative and it turns out they've got a couple polyps, now it's medical and not preventative. Is that true?
That's exactly correct. Preventative
so
it's only initial screening. That's what it is. So anything over and above that, where if the lab result comes back and, they need to do more research on, whatever was, being tested on, and, then that's all subject to the medical plan. And
right, but even if it's in the same procedure, even if that makes
doesn't matter.
Not preventative.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
okay,
like even
that's what I thought.
Go into, like a lot of common situations are when like women go in for pap smears, and then you get an abnormal pap and you have to go in for another pap smear. That is not covered under preventive care. So,
okay. Thank you.
Good question. Okay, then we have the HSA plan.
Okay, so this one generally works the same way as the traditional PPO. You have your in-network and your out-of-network benefits. But it does have the option to add alongside a health savings account. And that's a completely different matter than the PPO plan. It's handled completely separately. And the company, just as an FYI, does not sponsor a health savings account. So if an employee is interested in opening up a health savings account to go along with this particular plan, they will need to do that outside of the organization, which most, large banking institutions do offer it, like Wells Fargo, I know, offers one because I had one through there. So, they really have a good chance of, finding a health savings account through those particular banks. So how this works is everything on a high deductible HSA compatible plan, all benefits are subject to the deductible. So this is where it is different than the traditional PPO 500 that we just went over, because this plan does not pay anything out until you have satisfied that deductible of $1,500 for an individual, $3,000 for a family, or out of network $3,000 for an individual, $6,000 for a family. Okay. Now, if you drop down and you look at the out-of-pocket limit, that is the max again that will come out of their pocket if something catastrophic were to happen in a calendar year. So $3,000 for individual, $6,000 for family in network, $9,000 individual, $18,000 for a family out of network. So primary care physicians, they're going to have to pay towards these deductibles before they get that 20% or that 40%, and that's what we call coinsurance. So, but just keep in mind that when you are actually utilizing this plan, it's not like automobile insurance where you crash into your vehicle and then all of a sudden you owe your deductible in its entirety if you have like a 500 or 1,000. This one, if you're just going to a doctor's office visit, normally they run about $100 to $120. That's what the contractual rate is, okay, if you go to an in-network provider. Once you would only pay that $120, and that would be applied towards that deductible. Okay, so it wouldn't be like, oh, I have to go to the doctor, and I'm going to, for one visit, I'm going to have to pay either $1,500 or $3,000 to utilize my benefit. So just kind of keep that in mind, because that's a question that gets posed quite frequently, because this whole deductible thing kind of scares people. Luckily with this group, we rolled this out last year, and they're pretty intelligent, younger folks, and they understand, I think, now, but they might have a little, they might have some more questions on the HSA plan, because it is somewhat appealing to them, because they understand that if they open that health savings account, that they obviously, once they fund it, it would be funded post-tax, but it is tax deferred. So they realize that there is a benefit to having that. So with that, any questions so far on that plan? Does that make sense? Or
And if you forget, it's over here on the side too. It says, all services except for the routine preventative care are subject to the deductible.
exactly.
That'll help you remember.
Going down, when you see the 20 and 40%, all of those benefits fall in the same way as the primary care and specialist office visits fall. Preventive care is handled exactly the same way as the traditional PPO 500 plan. The emergency room covered at 20%. It's the same, got to meet the deductible. And then the prescription drugs, which is very important, those are subject to the medical deductible as well. So they don't get to utilize those $10 copays or $30 copays until that deductible is satisfied. But again, keep in mind that if they're going to go get, a generic drug, and the drug, contractually, because they are a member of Anthem Blue Cross, is only $50, and they're only going to pay $50 towards that medical deductible.
Okay, any questions?
I have
Or
questions for Susie again. Susie, can you just confirm with me on, because honestly, I have an HSA, but I don't do a lot of them at the groups that I do, but I'm very comfortable explaining it. But the thing that I want to just get confirmation on, like the PPO, you've got maybe 3 people in your family, but if only one person is using it, then they can satisfy their deductible and they're out of pocket on one person. But is it, my understanding is on the HSA, that even if one person is using it, because you have family, it's automatically the family out of pocket. Is that correct?
Yeah, normally that is correct. I'd have to look at pull the actual benefit summary, which will be provided at the meetings, because there are certain instances where it is only an individual needs to satisfy it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the family deductible if you're enrolled. So it depends on how this is written, and I can't remember offhand how it was. That's a really good question, but those detailed benefit summaries I sent to Andrea, and they will be at the meeting as well.
Okay, so that's the only thing that, it's such a great plan, but that can scare people off.
Sure.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah, in those detailed plan summaries, they're on the Doc Center in Harmony, and I also sent them to you all, so you have the SBCs for each of these plans.
It's usually like written underneath the deductible, like where it lists the deductible. You'll see how they, how they will go about, how people are enrolled, how they will assess that and make people pay for the deductible. So.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions, or should we move on to dental? Okay, dental. There's just the One Guardian PPO plan that's in for all employees, whether they are in California or out of state. So if you want to go over this plan real quick, Erica.
Okay, the annual maximum on this plan is $1,500, and this works opposite of medical. So what this means is that Guardian is only going to pay $1,500 worth of claims out on a calendar year. And if somebody exceeds the $1,500 in claims, then they're on the hook for the remainder of whatever the bills might be. This plan does have a $50 deductible for individual, $150 for family, which is waived for preventative care. Preventative care is your cleanings and your x-rays, which you receive on this plan 2 times a year, x-rays 2 cleanings a year, x-rays once a year. It's got your in-network and your out-of-network benefit. And this question was actually brought up at our previous enrollment meeting that I did with Essential Benefits, and it was a very good question, so I'll explain it right now so that you guys understand it. In network, you see that preventative is 100%, basic services are covered at 80%, and major services are covered at 50%. And if you look at out of network, it's the same exact thing. So you go, okay, well, why does it even matter, right? The co-insurances or the percentages are exactly the same. Well, it does matter, because if you stay in network, those providers have a contractual obligation to be reimbursed only a certain amount of money from Guardian, okay? So they can't, I'll just give you a scenario. So an in-network provider charges $500 for a particular service, okay? And Guardian says, because you have a contractual obligation with us, you have agreed to only accept $300 for this service. And they go, okay, you're right. So $300 it is, we'll write off the additional $200, okay? And then that $300 gets billed into your plan and you pay whatever according to the benefit. If you're out of network, what happens is that $300 or $500 is billed, the Guardian goes, okay, well, I know you don't have a contract with us, but we're only going to reimburse you the amount of what we would reimburse a contractual provider for this service or a contracted provider for this service, which is $300. So then there's $200 that's left over. Well, now that $200 is subject to balance billing, and you as the member get that balance bill of $200. So they bill you for that. So that is the reason why it's better for you to stay in network than go out of network. But there are certain situations where, you know, people have dentists who've built up clienteles and they just don't accept insurance at all. And, you know, people tend to really, you know, appreciate their dentist once they found a good one, and you know, they care a lot more about them than they do doctors, believe it or not. So that's what the out-of-network benefit is basically for, is to still allow them to have some kind of benefit. Maybe not as good as the in-network, but, you know, it's still there. So any questions on that one?
So like usual, in-network is better. Always tell the employee, in-network is better. All right, then we have the vision plan. If nobody has any questions, the Guardian VSP vision plan is the same for California employees as well as the out-of-state employees. So, Erica, if you want to go over that plan real quick.
Okay, this is another PPO plan. On this plan, the examination is a $10 copay. Materials are a $25 copay. Benefit frequency, meaning how often they can use it. The examination they receive every year. Lenses they can receive every year. Frames they can receive every year. Okay, and as you can see on, again, the out-of-network, when you see only $23 covered, $37 covered, that's the amount that the insurance carrier will reimburse for those services. So it's definitely not as good as staying in network. So once you pay your exam copay of $10, you would then go and you would pay your exam copay of $10, and then say like you need lenses. They're covered at 100%, single, bifocal, trifocal, lenticular, but you would still pay the $25 materials copay that we referenced to above. So they would have a copay there. Contact lenses, if elective, they're covered at $130, or well, basically you get a $130 allowance, I should say. If they're medically necessary, they're covered at 100%. And then if you go down, frames are covered, you get a $130 allowance. So, you know, again, it's way more beneficial for people to stay in network. And VSP, this is through Guardian, by the way, but the actual coverage is VSP. So when they look up networks and providers, they could actually go to VSP.com if they wanted, but Guardian also has the ability to allow them to search for providers on their website as well. But I mean, it's really difficult for people to go out of network with this plan. So it's not very often that we run into issues with, provider issues or anything like that.
Okay, any questions? All right, then we'll move on to the basic life, which Erica says is already in place, and it's $25,000 for all full-time employees that are 30 hours or more. This information we didn't get, so you're just going to select it for everybody so that it shows that everybody has that benefit, and it'll be an opportunity where beneficiaries can be updated. And we'll capture that information. And then you can see in the guide, there's a little new one that you can see that the voluntary life is new. So now they have the opportunity where they can buy additional insurance. The employee can get up to $500,000 in $10,000 increments, but the guaranteed issue amount under age 65 is $150,000. If they want to purchase more than $150,000, that's when they'll have to fill out the evidence of insurability form, and that's the one paper form that we have. They can also get for their spouse. They have to either get the same as their as the employee. They can, or whatever's the smaller amount, 100% of the employee benefit, but only up to $150,000. And it's in increments of $5,000, but the guaranteed issue for the spouse is $50,000. Normally, most employees tend to stick to the guaranteed issue amounts. And then the children,
this is a pretty young group, so I don't know how many of them are going to want to buy over that, at this point. So we'll see. But
yeah. And the children, they can get up to $10,000, but they can only get, in the system is set that they can't get more than 10% of the, which, of what the employee gets. So if the employee only gets $10,000 of insurance, well, then the children can only get $1,000. So that's how it's set up. But the guaranteed issue amount for children is the $10,000, and they can get it in increments of $1,000. Is there anything that you want to share about the voluntary life, Erica?
No,
additional.
That's it.
And I think you told me that the spouse's insurance is based on the employee age.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how it's set up. And then a new insurance that all full-time employees are also going to get is the long-term disability plan. And let's see, I think I put that in the guide real quick. I do, because it didn't show in the book, but I got it off of your information. All right, let's go down to, okay, so the long-term disability, there's actually two plans. The executives can get up to $10,000 a month, maximum 60% of their salary with a 90-day elimination period. And they have identified the executives. And of course, the executives are divided into Class 1 California executives and Class 3 non-California executives. And then the other class is all other employees, which is Class 2 California, all other employees, and Class 4 the non-California, all other employees. And if they're not an executive, the max that they can get is $5,000 a month, 60% of their salary, but they have a 360-day elimination period. Is there anything else that you want to share about the long-term disability?
No.
No. And then in Indiana, because Indiana must not have state disability, those employees will be able to get a short-term disability plan, which is a max of $11.30 a week, or 55% of their salary, and they have a 8-day elimination period, and the duration of the benefit is 52 weeks. And I think, was there anything in the booklet about that? I don't think. Oh, it's not going to show here. This is the California booklet. It's just the California booklet. Yeah.
Because certain things were, kind of class specific, we don't get into too much detail in those guides, especially when there's, otherwise we'd have like a million different guides. So in this case, we'd have 4. And
Yeah,
so we didn't want to do that. So especially just for disability, because we can answer those questions, one-on-one.
Right. Yeah, and it's a class, whether it's executive, it's basically two classes, the executive and the other employees, because it doesn't differentiate. They don't get a different benefit amount if they're outside of California, but Guardian wanted them identified.
Exactly. And there probably won't be, according to Guardian, there isn't anybody in the executive class that's in class 3 non-California. So that might be like a non-issue there. So we shall see.
Well, that's true. Well, according to the census anyway, that the group census, we didn't see any executives listed in Indiana. So
yeah,
we'll find out. And then we come the FSAs, and I'll add the bicycle FSA, but these are all new plans. So we do want the employees, you want to talk about them with all of the employees so that they know that they're available. They did select the rollover up to $500 on the medical reimbursement FSA. So, and the minimum amount that they can select is $500 up to the $2,550 that's allowable through our federal government. And they will be having debit card, and they can roll over up to $500 to the next year. And then, of course, you have the dependent care, which is $2,500 and up to $5,000 if married. And then the parking FSA is $255 a month max, and the transit FSA, the commuter transit, they did increase that to $255 a month max. And I think you had said that the bicycle one is $20 a month.
Yes.
So I'll get that one set up in the system as well. And we'll go back to the guide real quick. Did it talk about bicycle here?
No.
No, it didn't.
Because
okay.
that was like added on at a later date. So
the books were done.
Can I ask a question? This is Susie.
Sure.
And I don't mean this to sound like a really dumb question, and I don't ride a bike a lot, but what will they be using the $20 for?
Like repairs,
Okay.
because I guess if you like ride your bike, frequently, obviously it's like a car. You're going to need to repair it. So that's not a dumb question. Trust me. I thought the same thing at first. We were scratching our heads going, what would you possibly, put into an FSA account, for that? So when I read the flyer, it goes into detail, which I sent to Andrea, and she can post for you guys, and you can read more about it, but it's repairs.
Okay, the thing about the parking and the transit, in case you guys don't do it much, they can stop it and start it. As my understanding is, they can stop it and start it whenever they want to. It's not like the medical and it's not like the medical that they're locked in. So that's something that I imagine the bicycle is going to be the same way.
Yeah, and the thing is that I believe actually with, I'd have to find out. We actually have a call with WageWorks tomorrow, an implementation call, so I'll be able to get more information on that, and we also have the representative there in California, so it's kind of all like a big learning experience for us too, so we're just going to go along and get educated as we go,
Okay.
Okay, and then on the next page, you can see the biweekly employee contributions, what the employees will have to pay for the medical, dental, vision plans. The life plan, the amounts are set up in the Harmony show, so it will show. It's not here in the guide. And these are the exact same numbers that you're going to see in Harmony for the dental, vision, and medical. And let's see, I don't remember. I think the rest of these pages are mainly disclosures.
That is correct. So just like if you can get to we're actually going to be passing out plastic cards, and I think it's on page 19. Andrea. But we have a helpline as well through our company, Orion, and it's referenced on this page and we'll talk about it at the meeting as well, or the meetings, where people can call in after, of course they're going to be meeting with you guys and everything like that, but maybe they might have a meeting time that, a few hours after the group meeting and they forget something. Well, they also have the ability to call in to this number and ask any questions as well. And of course, I'll be there too all day. So I'll I'll let everyone know that I am there too, for any Q&A, in the meantime while, you guys are working with the other individuals, just so that we can hopefully kind of move things along quickly, so that when they actually sit with you, that they're not asking you a whole bunch of questions.
And then this helpline this is available to them all year long, right? That
yes.
If they want if they need any assistance,
yeah.
the Orion Assistance helpline. So you tell the employees, to, I don't know, maybe tear this page off their booklet, put it on their refrigerator so they don't lose it, so then they can always call.
We have plastic cards, like credit cards, that we're actually giving out to each employee and their significant other if they want one. So those will be passed out at the meetings too. They go in their wallet.
Perfect. That'll be great for them. All right, so that's the benefit book for California. Let me quickly go open up the one for out of state, because there's one more medical plan basically, and that we need to go over in here. Everything. Let's see, here it is.
Everything else is the same, other than the short-term disability.
And the deduction, which we already went over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can go over this plan that's new, has that little new symbol on it.
Yeah.
So go for it, Erica.
This again is a PPO plan, works the same way as the HSA and that traditional PPO 500 plan. This plan is obviously got a higher deductible than the 500. It's not HSA compatible, meaning they can't ride alongside a health savings account with this plan. But the nice thing is that they don't have to pay all of the deductible up front before they receive like the office visit copay, or I'm sorry, when they go into the office, they get a specific copay. They don't have to pay all deductible up front. Same goes along with the prescription drugs. They get to utilize the copays just like the traditional PPO plan before meeting the deductible. So this one is also, it's going to be more expensive than the $500 deductible PPO plan, because obviously the deductible is significantly higher and the benefits are reduced, but at least gives them, some flexibility to kind of pick whatever is best suited for them and their family. The annual deductible is $3,500 for an individual, $7,000 for a family. In-network, out-of-network, it's $7,000 for an individual, $14,000 for a family. The out-of-pocket limit, huge part of selling a PPO plan, is the maximum that will come out of their pocket in a calendar year basis, which is $6,350 for an individual, $12,700 for a family in-network. Out-of-network, it's $15,000 for an individual and $30,000 for a family out-of-network. Primary care physician, again, is a fixed copay, so the deductible is waived. In-network, it's $35. Out-of-network, it's 50%. The inpatient hospital, you can see it works the same way as the traditional PPO plan. It's 35% coinsurance in-network, 50% coinsurance out-of-network. Deductible needs to be satisfied in order to receive that coinsurance benefit, and that applies to the outpatient surgery as well. Preventive care works exactly the same way as the other two plans, so screenings, in-network are all covered at 100%, 50% out-of-network. Emergency room is $150 copay plus 35%. Again, $150 is waived if you get admitted into the hospital. And the prescription drug benefit, generic is Tier 1, it's a $15 copay. Tier 2 is a $40 copay, which is brand name. Tier 3 is a $60 copay, which is non-formulary. And Tier 4 is a 30% to maximum of $250, and those are self-injectables. Again, they're not subject to the deductible, or they don't have any deductible that applies to them. Any questions?
And I do have a question, Erica, because I was just looking over here at the provider network. It has /CA. Would they have to change it to for Indiana to find Indiana doctors?
No, because it's a California-based group, so they have to go through this. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, just wanted to double check that.
That's a good question.
All right, then other than that, everything else in here, other than the outpatient, I mean the short-term disability. That's the word I was blanking on. That's the only difference that is in this book. You'll see. Let's see, they have short-term disability here that pays if they're unable to work for 8 days up to 52 weeks, and they can amount that they're 55% of their salary. So they made it like California, the state disability, 55%. Huh?
Yeah, they matched it, so they would be exactly the same.
Yeah, and then they have their biweekly contribution page, and if you look on, if you happen to take a look, the PPO and the HSA amounts here are different than California, so don't use the California page. Use the out-of-state page for out-of-state.
Well, they're
yeah,
and luckily, hopefully, the only people that will have the out-of-state guides that are on the phone right now are the people that are going to Indiana, because
yes,
we shipped everything according to whatever state needs to. So like California only has California guides. There won't be a chance of mixing it up. So
okay. And then they have the same disclosures, and then the page here, and then they'll get the plastic cards there as well. And
yes.
That's basically, I mean, that's the. Does anybody have any questions? Because we've gone through all the plans. I will get out Mike's survey to everybody. I'm going to make the updates to the guide that I need to, and resend the guide to everybody. I saw an email come from Erica, so she's already sent me the wage work stuff, and I'll get that to everybody as well. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I'll get the Colonial pre-enrollment flyer to all of you so you can. You said everybody's going to have the booklet, but are you going to pass out the Colonial flyers as well, or should my benefit counselors come with flyers to pass out at the group meetings?
We inserted them in the booklet.
Oh, you did insert them in the booklet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the flyers are already, so these booklets that I have here don't show the pages, but the booklets that the employees have will have flyers.
The hard copies, yeah. Yeah, we didn't want to leave you guys out because we covered everything.
Thank you, Erica. All righty. So then I will send it to you so you guys have it for reference purposes, but you won't have to make copies of it because they're in the booklet. And when it's your turn to talk, you can have them turn to that page in the booklet and go through our 3 benefits that are offered. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Andrea, it's Dana. Any special instructions for the call center?
No, the only thing that I'll say, Erica, the call center really can't have anybody fill out paper forms. So if they do have anybody that gets over the guaranteed issue amount for the voluntary life, they'll have to instruct those employees to fill out the evidence of insurability form with their HR director.
That's fine.
That's okay.
That's perfectly
okay.
Yeah.
Because
so we'll just refer them to their HR director?
Yeah, to fill out an evidence of insurability form. Because that's the only paper form that we have to fill out with this group is the evidence of insurability form.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions before we thank Erica for being on this call? Nope. Well, thank you, everybody, for attending the training call, and we look forward to a good enrollment next week. And I will get all the updates out later tonight to everybody. And just thank you. We appreciate your time on this call and appreciate you going to conduct the one-on-one meetings, and remember, this will be a new thing for all the employees because they haven't had the one-on-one meetings before, and we're confident that it will be a good thing for everybody. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, did you have
Thank
last
you very,
word?
very much.
What was that, Andrea?
Do you have any last words for everybody?
Last words, my goodness, it sounds like I'm going to like dump everybody into the river.
Okay, thank you.
No,
Thank
nice
you,
job,
everybody.
Andrea.
Thanks for
I
being on
appreciate it as usual.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And have a good evening. Go get your dinner, and thank you, especially those of you in Indiana and on the East Coast. I know it's late for you guys, so thank you for being on this call. All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.